We'll discuss the chemistry questions of mains test 1. We'll start with question number 61. Now this question says where formation of iodoform is not possible. Let's see the options. First one is isopropyl alcohol. Second is 3-methyl-2-butanone. Third is isobutyl alcohol. And fourth is ethyl methyl ketone. Now we know that iodoform is possible if the compound contains CH3CO or CH3CH-OH group. So now let's take the options. Option A will have this part. Option B will have this part. Option D will have this part. It is the third one. So then which cannot exhibit iodoform. So for 61, option is C. Now we will discuss question number 62. Here we have to identify the correct statement. Option A says that lyophilic colloids are irreversible. Now that is incorrect because lyophilic colloids are reversible. Reversible means suppose you evaporate the colloid and you get the residue. Just by adding the solvent you can get back the colloidal state. So A is not the answer. Now in B it says that viscosity of lyophilic colloids are same as that of the solvent. This is again wrong. The viscosity of the lyophilic colloid is not same but it is much greater than that of the dispersion medium. Option C says that colloidal solutions cannot pass through filter paper. You know that that is also incorrect because the size of colloid particles are of the range 10 to the power minus 5 to 10 to the power minus 7 nanometer. So we can say that third option is also not correct. The correct option is given in D, which says that the zigzag motion of the colloids were first identified by Robert Brown. That is why they are known as Brownian motion. So for question number 62, the option is D. Now we'll start with question number 63. It says that we have some solutions given and we have to identify where we cannot get a blue solution. Let's go through the conditions given. First one is copper sulfate treated with ammonium hydroxide solution. So you all know a very common reaction. If you dissolve copper sulfate in ammonium hydroxide, we get a deep blue solution of tetraamine copper sulfate. Now the second one. The question says K4FeCN6 is treated with CuSO4 solution. Now here we get a reddish brown precipitate of Cu2FeCN6. Now third option we have is when ferric chloride solution is treated with K4FeCN6. This you all know is known as Prussian blue. So this is also a blue colored solution. And last one, copper sulfate dissolved in water. Anhydrous copper sulfate gets hydrated. Which is again blue in color. So the correct option is B, where we get a reddish brown precipitate of Cu2FeCN6. So for 63, option is B. Now we'll just start with question number 64. We have to identify which of the given set are disaccharides. Now all of you know what is disaccharide. Disaccharides are those which on hydrolysis gives you two different monosaccharides. So in all the sets given, if we compare the compounds, we have maltose, which on hydrolysis gives two moles of glucose. Then we have sucrose. You all know this, a very common one. So what you get? You get glucose and fructose. And then we have lactose. Lactose on hydrolysis produces 1 mole of glucose 1 mole of galactose. So by looking at this, what is the option we have? For 64, then we have the option as B. Now we'll discuss question number 65. The reduction potential values of some elements are given and we have to identify which of these metals, and the metals are like silver, copper, cobalt and zinc. These are the metals given. We have to identify which of these metals can displace rest of the other metals from their solution. Now you all know that more is the negative value of reduction potential, better is that substance as a reducing agent. So which one? It is zinc. Maximum negative value, so it is the best reducing agent out of the all elements given here. So for 65, option is D. Okay, now question number 66 is on borax bit test. First let's discuss what is that. You all know borax. This is called borax. We know on heating it becomes anhydrous, which is a swollen mass. Then this borax if heated strongly, it decomposes to give sodium metaborate and boric anhydride, which together will form a glassy bed. Now if we add some salts on this bed and we heat, we will get some colored beds due to the presence of some specific ions. Now here cobalt is given. So if this salt is placed on the bed, it is boric anhydride which will react. And we get a blue coloration because of cobalt metaborate. So which is the option? The option is C. So for 66, option is C. Now in 67, this sequence is given. We have to identify the unknown compound A. Can we say one simple thing, that the compound A must have 3 carbon atoms as they are the final present in final product. So what are the options you have given? A is ethylene, B is acetic acid, C is propane, and D is ethyl alcohol. Now which one we can eliminate? Ethylene is not possible, acetic acid is also not possible, ethyl alcohol is also not possible. So the only thing we are having here is propene. So now let's see how we get this with propene. If A would have been propene, first we do HBr addition. So what is your B? This is B. Second is KOH, alcoholic. So what we get? Elimination. And this on deductive ozonolysis will break from this part. What we get? So which is the option we have then? For 67 it is C. In question number 68, we have to identify the incorrect statement regarding radial probability distribution curves. First statement is that the number of maxima for 2s orbital is 2. So we have something like this. We have 2 maxima for 2s orbitals. It is correct. Second one says the total number of spherical or radial nodes is equal to n minus l minus 1. That is also correct, all of you know. Third statement is the number of angular nodes which is equals to L. That is also correct. Fourth is about 3z square. Let's draw the structure. Now question says that 3z square has 2 angular nodal planes, but it is wrong because of the shape of 3z square, these two are not angular nodal planes but they are in the shape of a cone. Hence the incorrect statement is option D. So 68 is D. 69 is about Bose process. This is used for the commercial manufacture of hydrogen. Now what we do in this? We take carbon or coke and we treat it with superheated steam at a temperature of about 1000 degrees centigrade in presence of nickel. So we get a mixture of carbon monoxide and H2. What we call this? This is called water gas. Or synthesis gas. This is treated with double of its volume of water, that is in the form of steam, in presence of catalysts like Fe2O3 or Cr2O3, and then we get hydrogen. Now when you know the entire process, which of the given statement is wrong? Yes, it is the second statement which says that Bosch process involves liquefaction of air. That is a wrong statement. So your option for 69 is B. So this is the question given in 70. Let's try to get the product. So we get a Grignard reagent. Which one will react? C, Br bond is weaker, so we get Grignard reagent with bromine. Then it is added to acetaldehyde. Last step is in the presence of NH4Cl aqueous. That will give us OH. So, which is the correct option? Yes, it is C. For 70. In question number 71, we have to find out the radius of sodium plus ion. The informations given are that the edge length of NaCl unit cell is 564 picometer and the radius of chloride ion is 181 picometer. So how will you do this? We know that for NaCl unit cell, radius of cation plus radius of anion is equals to edge length by 2. So we just put the data here. If we solve it, we get the answer as 101 picometer. So our option will be A. Now question number 72. 4 substances are given. We have to identify which contains 2 lone pairs of electron and square planet in shape. So we have to go through hybridization. SF4. What is hybridization? sp3d. How many lone pairs are there? Yes, 1 lone pair. So how it is arranged? sp3d with 1 lone pair is seesaw. Next one, XCO4. What is the hybridization? Yes, right, sp3. How many lone pairs are there? We have no lone pairs. So what is the shape? Tetrahedral. Now the next, XEF4. Tell me, what is the hybridization? Yes, right, sp3d2. How many lone pairs? we have two lone pairs. What is the structure? Right, this is square planar. So first one is cancelled. XCO4 is also cancelled. XCA4 is okay. Now we see the last one. What is the hybridization? sp3d2. How many lone pairs are there? 2. So finally, what is the arrangement? Square planar. So now see the options given. It should be C. So for 72, option is C. Now in question number 73, we have given two compounds. First one is this and second one is acetylene. For both of which we have to seek the addition of HCl. So you have given an alkene, you are doing HCl addition. We should get a Markovnikov's product. So our product will be this is for the first one. Now for acetylene, again Markovnikov's addition. First it becomes vinyl chloride. And finally we get so the option will be B for 73. In question number 74, we have some informations given. We have given the equivalent conductance of NH4Cl, ionic conductance of Cl- and OH- ion, and equivalent conductance of NH4OH. We have to find out the degree of dissociation for NH4OH. So first, we can write this. And from this we can calculate ionic conductance of NH4 plus which is equals to 70. So what is the equivalent conductance of NH4OH then? This is equal to (270). So now what is the degree of dissociation? That is equals to 9 by 270. So our answer will be something close to 0.033, which is given there in option C. In 75, 4 different methods are given and we don't have to identify where we don't use a catalyst. So what is contact process? Manufacture of sulfuric acid. And when you do oxidation of SO2, you use platinum or vanadium pentoxide as a catalyst. Then you have thermite process. This is the process where aluminium is used as a reducing agent to reduce some metal oxides. Here no catalyst is required. Ostwald process. Again it is the manufacture of nitric acid. In this process again we use platinum as a catalyst. And last we have Haber's process. So, which is the correct option then? It is B. This is the setup given in question number 76. So, we'll start with ethanol. Phosphorus and iodine, what we get? Yes, we get CH3, CH2, I. Then magnesium and ether, Grignard reagent. CH3, CH2, Mg, I. Now the carbon ion will attack the carbonyl compound. So what we get then? CH3, CH2, O minus, Mg2 plus and I. On hydrolysis what do you get then? Simple propanol or propyl alcohol. So the option is D. We have given a sparingly soluble salt MX4 for which it will ionize as M plus 4 and 4x minus. If S is the solubility, it is S and 4S. So what is the expression for KSP we have? It is this. So let's put the values then. Therefore, KSP equals to 256 S to the power 5. So then solubility equals to KSP raised to the power 1 by 5. So our option is B. In 78, we have to identify the incorrect statement for SCF6. First one is the partial hydrolysis of XeF6. See the statement given? This is on partial hydrolysis produces XeOF4. And that is correct. Second one is reaction of XeF6 with silica. So what do you get? It reacts with to give HCOF4. Now then it says that it is prepared by the reaction of HCF4 with O2F2. Which is also correct. Last statement is it is on reaction with HCO3 forms HCO4. So let's see. So what is the product here? We'll get HCOF4. So the incorrect statement is D. For 78, the incorrect statement is D. In question number 79, these are the 4 compounds given and we have to identify which of this is the strongest Bronsted base. So Bronsted base is the one which will accept H+, means maximum availability of lone pair. First one we have sp3 hybridized nitrogen, but the lone pair is involved in resonance. Second one we have sp3 hybridized nitrogen, but NO2 is an electron withdrawing group. Third one, you have sp3 hybridized nitrogen with a strong electron withdrawing group like CO. This one is sp3 hybridized nitrogen with CH3, which is an electron releasing group. So that is the best Bronsted base out of the given. Hence the option is D for 79. Now in question number 80, it is about bismuth chloride. What happens when it is hydrolyzed? BiCl3 is exhibiting ionic character. So it is partly and reversibly hydrolyzed to give BiOCl. So we get a precipitate of bismuth oxychloride. If we increase the amount of HCl, it will disappear. So our option will be C. Now in question number 81, a density of ethanol solution is given 1.025 gram per ml and the molarity is 8 molar. We have to identify molality of the solution. So let's do it. If density is like that, we can write down mass of 1 liter solution is 1025 grams. Mass of ethanol will be 8 molar and 46 is the molecular weight of ethanol. So we'll get it as 368 gram. So what is the mass of solvent, which is water? So therefore molality equals to 8 moles present in 657. So how much is present in 1 kg? It will come close to 12.1 molar. So the correct option for 81 is A. In question number 82, we have to prepare 2-methyl 2-methoxy-propane. Now, two different processes are given. Which one is the best? If we see the first option, ethoxide ion is there and ideally it should go and add there and Cl should leave. But will that happen to give you the product as the ether? No, that will not happen because it is a 3-degree halide. So what we have to do actually? Because of the hindrance, this O- will take up the acidic hydrogen and in place of an ether, we actually get alkene as the major product. Hence, to prepare 2-methyl 2-ethoxypropane, best method is 2 and the correct option is B. Now in 83, these are the 4 equations given. We have to identify where the change of total pressure of the system at constant temperature has no effect on the product formation. So how do you identify? You know that the reactions where delta N is 0, there the change of pressure has no effect. So let's see the first one. For the first one, delta N is 1. For second one, delta N is 0. For third one, delta N is -1. And again for fourth one, delta N is 0. So what is this delta N then? It is the number of gaseous products minus number of gaseous reactants. So based on this, which is the option? Yes, it is B, which includes 2 and 4. Now in 84, we have to identify why lead pipes are not suitable for carrying drinking waters. The reason is that if it is lead with pure water, then you have no reaction. But obviously drinking water carries so many things in it. It is not 100% pure. So in that case, lead reacts with drink water which contains dissolved oxygen to get lead hydroxide, which is soluble as well as poisonous. So the correct option will be D. Now in 85, 4 different compounds are given. We have to identify where the net dipole moment is not equals to 0. For the first two, as you can see, they are acting exactly opposite and they cancel each other. So your mu is equals to 0 in both of these two structures. Can we have the same for the third and fourth? It is not, because it is not on the same plane. It is like this, as well as oxygen is having lone pair of electrons on it. So hence you have a resultant dipole moment which will not cancel each other. Same thing with sulfur also. It will also have a pair of electrons. And the resultant dipole moment is like this. So third and the fourth structures have mu naught equals to 0. So which one is your option? It is D. For 86, the question given is, if we increase the temperature of a reaction by 10 degrees centigrade, the rate of reaction is almost double. So what is the reason? Now we all know that for any reaction, we have something like this. The particles which will cross this activation energy, only they can form the product. Now it is seen that because of the collision theory, when we increase the temperature by 10 degree, the particles which will collide with each other to get or to cross the activation energy barrier exactly becomes double, and that is the reason rate increases 2 times to give us a faster reaction. So for this the option will be D. Now 87 is about ozone. You have to identify the incorrect statement about it. It is a strong sterilizing agent, that is correct. It will affect the double bond, that is also correct. You know that there is ozonolysis. Then it is a powerful oxidizing agent because it will decompose easily to give O, that is nascent oxygen. But what is the structure of O3? Is it like this? This is not the structure of O3. It exhibits a V-shaped structure. So the incorrect option is C. In 88, 4 ketones are there. We have to identify which one will give the carbonyl addition reaction most easily. So how will you identify? We have to compare the stability of the cycloalkane rings there. Now based on that, it is option D. We know that cyclopropane ring is most strained. Due to maximum deviation from tetrahedral bond angle. So for 88 our option is D. In question number 89, a reaction is given for which heat of the reaction is given as minus 560 kilojoule. It says that it is carried out in a 10 liter container which is having a fixed volume, and the pressure is decreasing from 70 bars to 40 bars. We have to identify the change in internal energy. Now we know that at constant volume, delta H equals to delta U plus V delta P. If we use the data given here, it is 560. We have to identify delta U, which is the internal energy. Volume is 10. And the pressure changes, final minus initial. So the final value for delta U is 0.0 minus 260 kilojoules. Unfortunately, that is not given in the options there. But anyways, if you get the process, you can solve any question based on this, and the correct answer should be then minus 260 kilojoule. In question number 90, three different compounds are given: trimethylamine, tricylamine and tricylyl phosphine. We have to identify their structures or shape. For this one, the hybridization is sp3, and since it is having a lone pair, the shape is pyramidal. So it is like this. Now silicon is the next member of carbon in the same group. So then this should be also sp3, and we should again have a pyramidal shape. So is it the case? We have actually a difference here. It is not sp3 and pyramidal. So let's see the difference. Nitrogen is again having a lone pair and bonded to 3 silicons. Now the difference between carbon and silicon is that silicon is having vacant d orbital. For Si, when you write down the configuration, it is 3s2 3p2 and it has 3 d orbitals. So what nitrogen can do is, it will give its lone pair to one of the d orbital of silicon and forms a p pi d pi back bonding. So it acquires sp2 hybridization and a planar structure, which is like this. Last one, we have tricylyl phosphine. In that case also, we have sp3 hybridization and pyramidal shape, because there is no p pi d pi back bonding taking place, as phosphorus itself has a vacant d orbital where it can accommodate the lone pair. Hence it retains the sp3 hybridization and it has a pyramidal shape. So on the basis of this, the option for question number 90 will be B, where we have planar, pyramidal and pyramidal structure.